I just filmed 27 minutes, an entire episode of Ask MandRproductions, and did not turn my microphone on. Let me just make sure. Okay, it's on. I am so disappointed in myself. Anyway, this is episode 143. If you have a question you maybe want to answer on next week's episode, leave in the comments below. When I go through and pick them, yours could get picked. If you're new to the channel, hitting that subscribe button would really help me feel better about not being good at what I do. I had one job. All I had to do was turn the microphone on. That little flip of a switch. I should have just bought the microphone that turns on automatically. MandRproductions says, I just watched one of your vlogs from 2018, and he wants to know if I still own the Sheriff Deadpool that I showed off in that vlog, because that thing goes for like $1,000 on eBay right now, and if I did sell it, how much did I get for it? Well, I bought it back in summer of 2018, right when it came out, and it was on eBay, and probably at its lowest price at like 200 or 250 bucks. It might have been a little closer to 300, but we'll just call it 250. And surprisingly, I cannot possibly keep up with the value of everything ever, and it turns out that this is now worth a lot more than I paid for it, and that is great, because if I ever want to sell it, I have an easy $1,000, but I don't really intend on selling. I mean, I didn't buy it to sell it, but that doesn't mean I can't or won't. If I want to sell it, I damn well will. But no, I haven't sold it, at least not yet, and I like the figure a lot, so I don't see why I would go and get rid of it quite yet, although it doesn't really do much. I mean, it sits in a drawer most of the time. If I ever really need $1,000, I can just put it up on eBay and get $1,000, I guess. But yeah, it's something I have in my collection and I like having it, so I don't see why I'm going to be getting rid of it anytime soon. Daniel says, if there's going to be no more battle packs in 2021, is there also going to be no more stud shooters? That is not how that's going to work. Stud shooters don't only exist in battle packs. Now, usually they come as like the weapons in battle packs for the figures, but I just don't understand like the absolute zero tolerance hatred for stud shooters. I really don't. If you don't like them on the figure hands, take them off. I never put them in my minifigures hands other than when I do the review. I just don't understand. I just throw them in a bin. It's fine. And usually when I do my videos and armies or whatever, I don't even put weapons in their hands. I mean, maybe it matters to you and you're more than welcome to have that opinion. I just strongly disagree. But no, that's not how that's going to work. Battle packs are not the sole reason that stud shooters exist, nor will it be the reason they would cease to exist. They exist in other sets, and they will continue to do so. I would not expect stud shooters to just disappear in 2021. My name is Chef says, what buildable character would you like to see appear in the coming years? So I think R2-D2 is probably the one that they should go back and redo, because they originally did it as a big old UCS set, and that's fine and dandy. It was really good for 180 bucks, but I could see them trying to come back in and do it for $100, $120 after they retire that boost set that has an R2-D2 that's somewhat similar to what you would see, but obviously they would incorporate more functions because they would do something larger. But R2-D2 is definitely one, and then the other one's like an Ewok. Could they do an Ewok? They did Baby Yoda, somewhat of a humanoid face. They did Yoda as well. Could they get away with an Ewok? My only problem with the Ewok is like the legs might look weird or something like that, but we'll see. Those are the two that I think would be the most sensible thing. Those buildable characters have come a long way from that original 2002 Yoda, and especially in recent years where they've been doing them 1 or 2 a year, it's been really great. So it's something I look forward to seeing continue in 2021 and beyond with those things. They're really neat. Tefico Production says, do you have a job? And if you do you like it? This is my job, what I'm doing right now. I'm on the clock. And yes, I love it, yeah. Astony the God says, what do you think the Mandalorian Hero Vehicle will be? So I've had a few comments that I've seen, like in my original 2021 rumor video, tell me, oh, do you think it'll be Moff Gideon's TIE Fighter? And I'm like, what part of Hero Vehicle did you not get? Moff Gideon is no hero. Maybe a hero for the Empire, but in the eyes of, like, Lego and marketing, definitely no hero. So it's not that. Let me just get that out of the way. And what I actually think it is, now it could be that boat from the Season 2 trailer, but I think that's really unlikely because that boat is just way too big to make as a $30 set and then have minifigures and all that jazz. Like, that's just not happening, so don't expect that. It could certainly be something in the Season 2 trailer that we do not see. It could certainly be maybe a blurg or whatever it is with Queel. Could see something like that. I doubt it, but maybe. But what I really think is this could be something of the case of 2019. And what do I say? What do I mean by that? Not many people are gonna remember this. But in 2019, we had the Death Star escape set with Luke and Leia and a Stormtrooper. And the way that set was rumored leading up to its eventual reveal, and why it was so surprising that was the set to me, was that it was rumored as a great vehicle escape. And the Death Star, you wouldn't really think of as a vehicle, and certainly not looking at that build, you would think great vehicle escape. I think this could be another case where it says Mandalorian Hero Vehicle, but notably, in the 2021 range, there are none of those $30 kind of Obi-Wan's Hut, Octu Island type of sets. We just don't see that in that lineup. And I think this could be one of those sets because it's supposed to be a $30 set. It could be like a little building or something in that vein that fits that category, because there's just nothing in that category this year right now. So I think there needs to be something there, and this will be that something there. And that's what this set is going to be. It's not going to be a giant $30 speeder bike or something like that. It's actually going to be a building. Now, I could be completely wrong, but if you're asking me, and you are, that would be my best guess. Ian Joseph says, did you see that the Best Man Duel, despite previously being listed as out of stock for weeks, is now on back order on Lego.com for October 8th? I'm ashamed to admit I bought one for $70 from a scalper based on your previous Q&A urging people to do so if they wanted one. And I apologize. That's my fault if you paid more than you should have, but I also think it's unfair to completely blame me because I didn't know. Like, this is an unprecedented situation where Lego has had to do things with the sale of these previously convention exclusive sets, and we didn't know if it was going to be available. And I mean, I've explained before, but I mean, my reasoning behind thinking that they wouldn't make more is that Toys R Us in Canada did a 3-day only event for those. Target in the US sold out in like a day and has not sold any more since, and I don't think will. Lego stores sold out, and it said sold out. Like, it was gone for good. And then the big kicker to me is that it was a North America exclusive, not going to be on the other continents, and that it also wasn't in stores. It wasn't in Lego stores. It wasn't in Target stores. It wasn't in Toys R Us stores. It wasn't in Walmart, whatever the case may be. It wasn't in physical stores. It was only online. Everything pointed to this being an exclusive set that was only going to be sold of X amount and gone. I think that the demand from the consumers and all of the whining online that I've seen about this, whatever, has driven Lego to produce more. And that's a fine thing, although to a degree, I am pro the concept of having things that are rare. I think that it's not a bad thing to have something be somewhat limited or somewhat exclusive. Not everyone can buy everything, and that's just a thing in life. Like, that's something I don't think people understand, but that is a thing, and I think that's fine. Like, not everyone can have a share of Deadpool. Lego's not going to make more of these. Not everyone can have one. They're prohibitively expensive and prohibitively rare, but that's just how it is. So while I think it's okay that Lego is making more of these, I don't want to see this be like a trend where they come out, and they never really said that this was going to be a super exclusive set or limited it to a certain number, and I think that's why they left themselves maybe open to that. But for like future convention exclusives, it's going to be the same thing. There's going to be 5,000 of them, and they're not going to make more like they did here. So take this opportunity if you wanted one. Pick it up. If not, hey, more power to you. Save your money, buy something else. Linus says, would you prefer a Master Builder Series Jabba's Palace or Endor Bunker? Certainly Endor Bunker. I think that's a set that absolutely needs to be redone. Haven't seen that since 2009. I think that's a very iconic thing from Episode 6, even more so than Jabba's Palace, although they're both obviously iconic. And my thing with the Endor Bunker is I honestly think Lego probably has a set done and designed at their headquarters in Denmark or whatever. Because if you didn't know, the Mos Eisley Cantina that just came out this year has apparently been done since 2016. It's been done, finished. Maybe some polishing things have happened between now and then with newer pieces that maybe came along. But as far as I'm aware, it's been done since 2016. And so in my mind, there's no reason an Endor Bunker couldn't be done or near done at this point in time for future release to be decided when the time comes. But it could be certainly done right now, ready to go, when they have the correct slate to release it in. Because obviously they can't just go and release these $300, $350 direct-to-consumer Master Builder Series sets every other month because they have all these scenes they can do. They got to space it out, make sure they don't oversaturate their own market. So I think that's a set we could potentially see in 2022 or 2024, because the recent trend, and Lego doesn't always work in trends like this, and they can certainly change it on a dime, but the recent trend has been every 2 years, and the second half of the year, we've gotten a larger direct-to-consumer Master Builder Series style set. And we could certainly see in 2022, I think the better option than an Endor Bunker for 2022, just for the timing, is a Geonosian Arena. There's been a lot of demand for that, both online and in my comments section, whatever. And that's going to be the 20th anniversary of Episode 2. Now, it should be noted that they didn't do anything special or noted as 20th anniversary of Episode 1, so there's no absolute reason to believe that that's anything of a lock for 20th anniversary sets of Episode 2, although the community would certainly appreciate it. And then for 2024, a couple years after that, I think the Endor Bunker would be a lot more likely as the obvious kind of next choice for a Master Builder Series set, since it would have been 15 years at that point since the original Endor Bunker. They could have made a lot of improvements, obviously with a larger price point. They could certainly go bigger with the build and everything like that, so I would look towards that as what I would be looking at just from an analyst perspective. Tech Production says, how many years away do you think we are from LEGO completely ditching stickers and just printing? That's never going to happen in my opinion. I just don't see that happening. It's, to me, I made an analogy the first time I recorded this. I was like, a dirt road will always be cheaper than a paved road. And that's just how it is. And if LEGO deems it worth it for them to use the dirt road because it works all the same as the paved road for the purpose of having the detail of on sets, they're going to use the cheaper option. Hugo says, which questions asked in Ask M&R are the most interesting to you? So I think I have 3 answers to this. The first one is not this one. I thought that was like the funny answer. The second one is sometimes the ones where people have like their own stories and backstories for things, for their advice. And we actually have one coming up later that I like. But the true answer, I guess, would be the ones I pick. Right? I just go through and pick questions. The ones I pick, by virtue of me having picked them, would be the ones that are the most interesting to me, because there's 1,000, 2,000 comments every week, which is insane. I spend like an hour at least reading through them usually, and I just scroll, and as I see one I like, I screenshot it, and that's how it goes. That's usually it, but maybe that middle answer maybe better answers your real question here. Gavin says, how do you feel about the rumors that Pedro Pascal might be leaving for Mando Season 2? So you even got a little mixed up here. Apparently he left in the middle of Season 2, and I don't think that happened at all. It's come out from a lot of sources that it was fake and not true, made up. Like, I just don't believe it at all. I really don't. There's been a lot of, like, Pedro posting on Instagram about the Mandalorian, and it's like, why? That doesn't make sense if he was so mad and quit. I don't know why he supposedly quit. I think it was just completely made up by someone for their Twitter followers or whatever the deal may be. I don't even know what the original source is, to be honest, at this point. And so I don't believe it at all. I really don't. Maybe you do, but I just don't think that he quit. I just don't see it. Big Dylan says, I'm getting the UCS Falcon for my birthday in November. Is there any tips I should know? Well, first off, follow the instruction manual. Definitely help you build it. My serious tip is, if you really care about your UCS Falcon, which you probably do, seem excited about it if you're already looking forward to November for it, get a display case. Get something to protect it from dust. If you don't care about your stuff getting dusty, more power to you. But if you care and you want to keep it in good, clean condition, get a display case for it. They can be expensive, $100, $150, but when you're spending $800 on something, maybe it's not that much of an added cost. Definitely go out and see what you can get. If you can't afford one, it's fine, whatever. But if you can afford like a display case for it, that is not a bad idea. QueenMarkQ says, which idea sets do you think will be picked? So there's actually 2 upcoming reviews. The first one comes up this fall, so like any day now, basically. It could be a month or 2 from now, but in the season of fall is here. And for that one, the one that I think is hopefully a lock is going to be that Krusty Krab, maybe that Tesla Cybertruck. I don't know. Cybertruck has kind of lost some popularity, but we'll see. It definitely had those memes early on, but I think the Krusty Krab would maybe be the most sensible thing I see on that particular image. But for the review that's coming up next winter or spring or whatever it is, there are 35 projects, which is insane. It's the most they've ever had. And there's a few projects I think that have a legitimate chance at happening. The first one is this community project, because they've done a lot of these sitcom style sets before. I don't see why this one would be a no-go, and I believe it's maybe one of the fastest sets, if not the fastest set to ever hit 10,000 on LEGO Ideas, so that one I think is certainly possible. I think the Up House has enough behind it to get a LEGO set made. It's certainly iconic enough, unless there's something stopping them from doing that IP-wise. I don't see why they wouldn't do it. There's an Avatar project. I would like a new Avatar set. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but that's definitely on the list. And then the one that I'm sure you want my opinion on is going to be Ash and Flash's Fall Guys project. And here's my thing with the Fall Guys project. I think it's an amazing project. I think it really captures what Fall Guys is and how the game plays and everything. And my problem with Fall Guys as an IP, not as the set that Ash made or any of that, and you can certainly think differently, but I think that Fall Guys is more of a fad. I don't think Fall Guys has the staying power that something like maybe Fortnite has had. And I think that Fall Guys, by the time LEGO would get a set to market, at least a year from now, would just not be popular enough to warrant a set. DooDooFace Perkins says, do you consider yourself as the big LEGO Star Wars guy? Yes, I do, and I have been for years. Mr. Oinking Pig says, do you think that LEGO canceled battle packs for 2021 because the CMF series will include mostly troopers? I don't necessarily think that it will include mostly troopers, although that's certainly possible. I also think that the CMF series could not be happening until 2022. That is still yet to be seen, though. My thing is, I think that the battle packs were originally made just so they could like sell figures at a really cheap price, and it worked out really well for a long time, and now they're like, hey, we can do CMF, let's just kind of tone back on that. for a little while we do this. Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to know at this point. It's certainly possible that it includes mostly troopers. I would not be against that at all. I would love like I said last week, a full-on Clone Wars Clone Trooper CMF series. That would be amazing. There's so many Clone Troopers they can do. Like, they're super popular right now. Why would they not? But they do a lot of things that I question, I guess. We'll see, though. I don't know. Lego Star Wars News says, did you hear about the new UCS Death Star 2 rumor for next year? Nope, haven't heard about it. Certainly not from any reliable source other than this comment. Don't believe it. I think either you made it up or you got it from someone that made it up. Don't think it's true at all. Not happening. I mean, certainly a Death Star 2 UCS set is not out of the realm of possibility. It's certainly a popular enough thing to warrant that. It's something that a lot of people would want, myself included. But as far as a legitimate rumor goes, no. Yusuf Jamil says, how did you prevent yourself from entering your dark ages in your teen years? Well, I had YouTube. And I think that was kind of the main thing. And with that, it's like I had YouTube and I went to these conventions and I had all these friends that were also all invested in Lego. And I think that really helped. And it kind of kept me away from that internal battle. And I say internal battle like it's always been a battle of like, oh, I'm about to get out of Lego. Oh, but you know, my friends, like, it's never been that way for me. I've just never put it down. It's kind of like Call of Duty for me. I've always liked playing Call of Duty for the last, I guess, 10 years. And there's never been a time where it's like, oh, I might not play Call of Duty next year because I'm just not feeling like I've always just been into it. And that's how I am, right? I get into a thing and I just kind of laser focus on it, and that's it. That's my thing. Like, there have been like, I would call 3 mainstays in my life over the last 10 years. That's sports, COD, and Lego. And that's it. I guess YouTube kind of by extension of the Lego, and Lego by the extension of YouTube. Maybe 4 things there then if you just want to call it separate. But that's it. I mean, it's YouTube, and then I had friends and was going to the conventions and all that jazz. And I think that is what kept me from my dark ages, although saying that implies that I was like fighting against this urge to get out of Lego, which isn't quite the case either. And our final question from Ronald. He says, I've been collecting Lego for about 5 years now, and my question is, I've flattened down and saved all my boxes thinking it may help with the resale value someday if I decide to sell them. Do you think this is a good idea or just a waste of storage space? My kids are grown and my money is all mine now, so my collection is expanding quickly. Thanks for all the great Lego videos. I find them very helpful in my collecting. Well, thank you, Ronald. And I think that it's not a waste of space, so I would keep doing that up until you find yourself butting up against that. I don't know exactly how you're displaying everything, but let's say you are able to store them in a closet or in the attic or basement, depending on where you live. I don't see any reason not to do that. Flattened boxes do not take up a ton of space. I keep my boxes all in their original expanded form. So I'm gonna be honest, if I haven't had a huge problem with that yet, I think you should be fine, especially because you're reducing the amount of space by a lot by flattening them down. They certainly should help the resale value if you do decide you want to move on from it and sell maybe some, if not all of them, one day. Knowing exactly how much value those may have is hard to tell because it's going to vary so much from eBay listing to eBay listing, and there's a lot of variables in that you just can never tell. Part of me wants to tell you just throw them out now. Like, you've already taken the half measure to getting rid of the boxes. I think Greg from Brickatech did this. Like, he broke them all down, and then I think he either broke them down and then decided to get rid of them, or he broke them down and he was gonna revisit it in a few months. But if you break them down, you're already halfway there. You may as well throw them in the recycling bin. I know I'm not helping, am I? I would keep them for now, but come the end of the year, if you just find that they haven't provided any value to your life, just toss them. Why not? Try to keep like the bigger, rare boxes, so maybe that's a good solution for you. Keep the ones that you think are for the especially valuable sets or just the sets that you love, but maybe don't keep your boxes for a set like a Naboo Starfighter or the random, 4th remake of a TIE Fighter type of thing. Like, get rid of those, but the UCS ones you would keep. That would be maybe my best advice if you do decide you want to get rid of some, maybe not all of them. But as far as like it being a waste of storage space, I think especially because you flatten them down, I don't think it's quite a waste. Let me know what you do. I'm kind of curious. But anyway, that is it for today. If you guys enjoyed, a like would be awesome. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And if you guys have a question for next week's episode, leave it down in the comment section below. And I'll see you all next week. Peace out. Tell me I left my camera on. All right, we recorded the audio.